question, what is the role of interreligious and intercommunity dialogue in addressing tolerance and non-discrimination, and what can governments do to encourage and facilitate it, raises concerns. Stated in the negative, at what point does government coercion to engage in interreligious dialogue run counter to the religious interest of those undertaking it, who are in theory speaking on behalf of their faith community? This is especially true when discussions disproportionately serve the interest of one religion to the detriment of the others. A parallel concern is that the interfaith dialogue today tends to follow relativist rules that subordinate faith interests to diversity concerns through narratives designed to suppress reason. In such an environment, interfaith partners all too commonly become caught up in the fraternal need to bond over the need to protect equities. Mr. Moderator, Mission Europa recommends interfaith dialogue should follow its own flow and rhythm, should be undertaken by faith leaders who remain committed to reason, that is capable of looking past relativist narratives that creates an equivalency between the sheep to be defended and the wolves to be watched. In this, government should play little or no role. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
State, which, according to a professor for Islamic pedagogy at the University of Vienna, from a theological perspective is 100% legitimate. IS has led a number of Austrian men and women to travel to Syria and Iraq in order to fight alongside IS, leading the Austrian government to introduce even stricter laws with regard to freedom of speech. There are currently efforts to relaunch the law on Islam. This is laudable, especially since the draft includes a demand for the disclosure of Islamic teachings and beliefs in the German language, Quran and Hadith. We support the efforts of the Austrian Minister of Foreign Affairs, who has already called for the publication of an official German translation of the Quran. Recommendations. Pax Europa recommends that Austria takes seriously its OSCE commitments with respect to implementing the law on Islam in Austria. And finally, Pax Europa recommends that Austria actively obtain written affirmation from the Islamic organizations that they do not currently and will not in the future seek to introduce Sharia law in the land. Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator.
Thank you. I now call on the representative of